Is there a way to keep these open? Nope. I don't know if there's a way to keep those open. Here. As you come in, you can gather around the candles here, or you can find a seat. But either way, you can find a seat that's nice and close to the center so we can be close together as we pray. To the front. Gather around.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. As you're making your way in, I actually would like to invite you all to please rise for a moment. Just rise if you are able. And if you are at all anywhere close to these seats, you must sit in them. And so in a moment, we're going to light our Shabbat candles. And before we do, we've got to fill up all of these chairs. Don't be weird about it. You want to sit here. And as you make your way forward, and by the way, if you are toward the back, make your way toward the front. Fill out also these pews toward the front. And as you do, say Shabbat Shalom to someone you don't yet know. And we're just going to keep moving forward. And even you could scooch maybe even a little. Maybe a little. Yeah, scooch a little forward also. Scooch these chairs a little forward too. It's a very big space tonight. Say Shabbat Shalom to someone you don't yet know, and scooch forward. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. As we're hopefully not yet too settled into this space because there's still another pew up here and hopefully you're thinking about sitting there, we want to invite forward anyone whose wedding I have officiated or whose wedding I will officiate to come on up here. This is a pew right here. You can sit right there, Josh. And come on forward if you are any of the wedding couples that have either begun a process with me or finished a process with me. We want to invite you to actually light our Shabbat candles here. So come on forward, don't be shy. And we're going to still nigun another time as you make your way forward so that you don't feel too awkward.
All right, let me hear everybody. Yai-dai-dai.
Thank you all, and you can make your way to your seats. And as you do, let's all take another 30 seconds to just say Shabbat Shalom to someone near us. Make sure you know who you're sitting next to.
Begin on page 128 with the first paragraph of Yedid Nefesh, 128. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
It is so fun to be in this space, in this sanctuary on a Friday night, which we don't always get to do. And it might feel a little different. And Shabbat obviously is a time to do things a little bit differently. Tonight is many different things. Already from our pre-neg, you know there's a somewhat celebratory vibe. There is joy, perhaps, in our space. And also it may be that tonight you're not only bringing joy into this space, you might be bringing with you the stress of this past week. You might be bringing with you all sorts of tsuris, all sorts of things in your own personal lives. And also, as we know, this was a very challenging week in the life of our people. And inevitably, every single Shabbat, but especially this Shabbat, it feels like there are so many different feelings that we're taking with us into this space. And we want to make sure that as we settle into Shabbat, as we settle into this ritual with these prayer books, that we just give ourselves permission to feel whatever we need to feel, but to feel it fully, to feel a little bit of wholeness with these rituals. Ritual itself, sometimes we say, is a conscious expression of the self, meaning that it is a way of releasing whatever it is we need to release from inside, even if we don't know what's inside. And this evening in particular, after the news yesterday of the attack at Temple Israel, we might be feeling a special measure of sadness and all kinds of stuff. But whatever it is, really, that we need to feel, whatever it is we need to be, whatever it is we need to release, we just want to encourage you to do it, to feel it, to release it, to be it, because tonight is something real. Tonight is Shabbat. And given that this is the last time I'll be doing this for a little while, and don't worry, I will be back, I will note something that I say at almost every Shabbat, something that perhaps some of you are even tired of hearing, but that for 6 days, every single week, Rabbi Timon nodding vigorously. She knows that for 6 days every single week, we work really hard to prove ourselves to our friends and our teachers and our co-workers and everyone in our lives. But Shabbat is a gift that means or suggests to us that we don't actually have to work that hard. We can simply be. And so tonight, I just want to invite you into that, to simply be with us, with whatever it is that you're feeling, with whatever it is you're taking into this space. Try to feel something real and try to make this real as we settle into Shabbat. Our service has already begun, but we will continue with Kabbalat Shabbat, beginning on page 130, with Lechu Naranana, settling into these psalms of Kabbalat Shabbat, calling one another to attention, singing out loud with joy.
Take a nice deep breath in and let it all the way out. Whatever it is that you've been carrying all week, let it flow out. In this last Shabbat of the month of Adar, which we're supposed to fill with joy and gladness, make some space for it. And then bring to mind something that brought you joy this week that you might take with you into Shabbat. We continue on page 136. Mizmor David, Havul Adonai b'nei Eli, Havul Adonai kavod ba'oz, Havul Adonai kevod shemo, Ishtachavu l'Adonai be'avrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, el hakavod yirei, Adonai hamayim rabim, Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai be'kadai, Kol Adonai shomer arazim, Vaishaper Adonai et aizeh hapanon, Vayakidem kemo egel, Lebanon ve'Sirion, kemo bein re'im, Kol Adonai chotzez la'avodesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yecholel hayamot, Vayechesod ye'arot, U'hechalo kulo me'kavod, Adonai ramavu yashav, Vayishev Adonai melech le'olam, Adonai oz le'amo yiteh, Adonai varech et kavdo v'shalom, Yadadadadadadai, Yadadadadadai, 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 turn to page 144, please stay standing for Chatzi Kaddish. Yitkada v'yitkada shmei Rabba, v'yamad yivrach yoteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechonu v'yomecha, uv'chayedecha beit Yisrael, bagala, bagala, uv'izman kariv yiveru, amen, yehei shmei Rabba mevarach, le'al Yibarach v'yishtamach v'yita'ar v'yitramach v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata tamiran ve'amna v'imeru Amen. 146 Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. Please be seated, page 148. Mavir yom mevi laila, mavdil ben yom ben laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, Tamid yimloch aleinu leolam vaed, Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv aravim. 150. Avat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha avta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Al kin Adonai Eloheinu b'shochmenu, uvkumenu nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha le'olam vaed. Ki heim chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, u'vahem nege yomam v'layla, nege yomam v'layla. Be'ahavat ha'at asir, Imenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael, Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai
וכל לבבך וכל נפשך וכל מאודך.
154.
והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בה בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם.
150.
That song, Mi Chamocha, is, as we know, the song that our ancestors sang on their way to freedom at the end of their bondage in slavery. And it's a story that we're going to return to in just a few weeks. And we end that ancient song with a still ancient but more recent prayer at the end, blessing God for redeeming our people, Ga'al Yisrael, in the past tense. And the idea is that we are imagining that if it was once possible for God to free a people, our people, that one day it might be possible again to see a world redeemed, to live in a far better world than the one that we now inhabit. And friends, as we move out of Kabbalat Shabbat into this Mariv experience, this service, this is our moment where things turn to perhaps a more somber part of ourselves. Certainly the moment where we turn inward and we really think about our own fragility and frailty. And this week, in particular, that's not so hard to do. As we consider the attack on Temple Israel yesterday in Metro Detroit, many of us were really thinking again about our own vulnerability and the ways in which this world is so wrong, is so dangerous, is so imperfect. And yet also, as we think about ourselves, we think about those halfway across the world who are in far greater danger even than maybe we are. We think of Israelis and Palestinians and Lebanese people and people in Iran, all of whom are stuck in a conflagration people who did not want the sort of war and devastation that they now face. It is so unfair that so many people now face the kind of violence and uncertainty that they do. And not everyone, as we know, has a safe haven. Not everyone has a bomb shelter to go to. Whether in Israel or Palestine or Lebanon or Iran, not everyone has a safe place to be. And at this moment, we move into our next prayer, Hashkivenu, and we ask God to shelter over us a canopy of peace. And I want to encourage us all to widen our aperture, widen the first person plural, to consider within the us, within the new of Hashkivenu, all of them. Everyone innocent, especially anyone who did not ask for this pain or warrant this trauma, to shelter over them all a sukkot shalom, a canopy of peace. Inevitably, at this moment, we move and think about all of these pains and vulnerabilities in our own lives, but let's encourage ourselves, let's push ourselves to think about all those tonight who do not have a safe place to be, as we pray now Hashkivenu on page 160.
Blessed
ask you now to share the names of anyone you're thinking of in need of healing of mind, body, or spirit. Just feel free to shout their names out loud all at once in unison as we consider sending each of them an extra measure of refuah shlema, of healing. If you know of anyone who is in need of extra support from our CBE clergy team, please find one of us afterwards at the Kiddush at Oneg and let us know how we can be of service. We'll turn back now in our prayer books to page 162 to Vishamru before a silent Amidah. Please rise if you're able.
Vishamru
Asher koach, Leslie. You may not realize it, but I suspect in honor of this gathering, you have selected Debbie Friedman melodies for tonight. Some melodies that we don't often do here at CBE, maybe we did in years past, but you have selected a very high ratio of Debbie Friedman, which I think is in my honor, and I'm so grateful. And surely many of you know all about Dear Debbie, who is a hero of mine. And even if you don't, that's okay. I know, looking out, that there are people here of all sorts of different backgrounds, and there are perhaps all sorts of different reasons why you're here. And it is actually so very good to spend this evening with all of you. Perhaps you come here every week. Perhaps you're here just for tonight. Perhaps you are a Girl Scout. Welcome. We're so happy that you're here. Are you? What troop are you in?
2940.
All right, welcome. Shabbat Shalom. We are so happy that you're here, and genuinely, it is an honor to celebrate this last Friday night that I'll observe with you all for a long time. Of course, I'm here also next Saturday morning. So if you can't get enough, you'll have more. And it is really sweet for me to get to be with you in this precise way. This evening, as we gather to celebrate, and surely we are celebrating and we will celebrate more, we know we are also ending a week that was pretty painful. Though fortunately yesterday's attack at Temple Israel did not cause any serious injuries for the targets of the attack, obviously the attempt at far worse still shakes us up. A shock like that frightens us. It reminds us of our vulnerabilities. It invites us to build further bridges with other peoples, to reaffirm our commitment to humanity writ large. And a shock like that prompts us to feel closer to other Jews of all different kinds, across time, space, and ideology. I was reminded of that latter fact last night when I found myself at 770 Eastern Parkway, the Chabad World Headquarters. And I noted that many of the Lubavitchers there were talking about what had happened in West Bloomfield. Now, never mind that Temple Israel is Reform and Chabad is not. There are still some shared experiences that remind us of the ties between us. These days, it frequently feels like the only times that we are bound together are the sad times. But still, we share something deep, something that I am still seeking. And these days, when at every other moment Jews have endless reasons to dislike each other and to see ourselves on different sides of political and philosophical chasms, somehow I'm still seeking something else. And I'm sure that many of you are too. That feature of Jewish life is something that I'll return to as I tell you what's on my mind as I head into my sabbatical. But first, as you might expect, I'll offer now a word about this week's Torah portion. In the opening verse of this week's Parsha, we read, Vayakel Moshe et kol adat bnei Yisrael, and Moses convoked the entire community of Israel. All of them are there, men and women across every line of difference. And before going on to describe what the Parsha is really about, building the tabernacle, that is supposed to bind the people together and bind them to God, before getting into that, the Torah doubles down on a commandment that the people have actually already received a few times. Sheshet yamim taseh malacha, for 6 days work may be done. Uvayom hashvi'i yeh lechem kodesh Shabbat Shabbaton ladonai, but on the 7th day you shall have a Sabbath of complete rest, holy to God. Now this by itself is interesting, that the Torah emphasizes Shabbat again this week, which marks the 4th time in just the book of Exodus. But this section about Shabbat comprises only the first 4 verses of the Parsha. And all of the chapters that come after are devoted to the hard work of building the tabernacle. It is a famously bizarre juxtaposition. And it would be right to wonder, why should the Torah go out of its way to mention rest before describing the work of building the Mishkan with all its fabrics and metals and appurtenances. This was the question of Isaac Abarbanel in the 15th century. We might have thought, he explains in his commentary, that building the tabernacle outweighed in importance all the other biblical prescriptions, and most certainly the Sabbath rest. He goes on to point out that as a people that prioritizes deed over creed, the Jews might be inclined to believe that building a sacred space should outweigh the need to rest. But precisely because the people would naturally believe that, Abarbanel explains, God told Moses to say to Israel, though the work of the tabernacle is sacred, nevertheless, you must not override the Sabbath on its account, but observe it. Now, friends, when I read that earlier this week in advance of addressing you all before my sabbatical, I was like, that's it. Might as well say Shabbat Shalom. Because that is the whole point. Barring only a handful of commandments, like saving a life, everything else must be put on hold to take care of ourselves, to breathe, to rest, to remember each week what is holy as opposed to what is merely urgent. And I'll admit to you that in rabbinic work, though rabbis go on and on all the time about the value of rest, we often lose sight of the difference between holiness and urgency. And usually that oversight comes at the expense of something else in our lives, our bodies, our time, our relationships, the spark of holiness that we too must tap into if we are to serve our people. Now, I think and I hope it's obvious that I love being a rabbi, and I love serving the Jews, specifically you all, in ways big and small, at the most random of hours, and the most preposterous of ways. I love it all, but I'm very tired. It has been a very long time that I have worked here. When I started working at CBE, Obama was president. Just think about that for a second. And given everything that came in the years thereafter, I kind of think we all deserve a sabbatical. And also COVID and personal ups and downs, and also October 7th and its aftermath, and also the 2024 election, and also the last 5 years of 17 Eastern Parkway. It's been a lot. But you actually don't really need to hear the reasons why I'm going on sabbatical. That all boils down to the fact that we are part of a community that values sustaining its leadership through rest. And you must know how grateful I am to all of you for making this possible, how grateful I am to my superlative clergy colleagues for taking on a little extra work while I am gone, and to the staff and to the board of CBE who have been so supportive. But tonight, instead of telling you all the reasons why I'm tired, I want to tell you about my plans. Because you have been writing to me, emailing me, texting, and I've been kind of hard to reach, which is so weird. I'm normally so available and responsive to you all. So let me say that after April 1st, my plans are primarily to sleep, to go to the gym, to go on a honeymoon, because for some reason I thought it was a good idea to get married 3 weeks before Rosh Hashanah. And Ilona and I want to take some time off together. Our travels will take us to Barcelona and Tel Aviv and London and San Francisco and Michigan and who knows wherever else. I won't tell you when I'm in each place because as much as I love you, one of my goals is to work on my boundaries. And I think I may be the least boundaried member of our clergy team. Would you agree with that? Yes. Exhibit A is how many of you have touched my facial hair. But as I travel far away from this building, I will be thinking about us. Not just us in this room or at CBE, but about the Jews, my lifelong obsession. Over the past 2.5 years, and frankly well before then, I've embodied the reality that the Jews have collectively been fairly messed up. And when I say I've embodied it, I mean it. I've held in my body the fact that we collectively are not well. It has kept me up at night and unsettled my own sense of self as a Jew and as a Jewish leader, because I feel cosmically bound to our people. But as we know, at this moment, American Jews don't have a clear idea of who we are as a people. We don't know how to relate to one another, and we don't know what to prioritize philosophically, politically, or spiritually. Caught as we are between nationalism and humanism, secularism and religiosity, universalistic values and particularistic commitments. And though I love my role in helping guide us all through it, I want to get back in touch with myself. Because as I was reminded of last night at 770, and on many other days, the lines that divide our people feel frequently like they run directly through me, in my family, in my friendships, and in my work. So I'm going on this adventure. I've got a whole long syllabus of reading and a new pair of tefillin, and I'm going to trace the contours of my own family story and the story of our people in the pursuit of answers. I suspect I will not find the answer, but I pray I will return with an answer or multiple answers about how to hold the constituent parts of myself together as I try to better understand my role in our collective. Commenting on the first phrase of this week's Parsha, Vayakhel Moshe kol adat b'nei Israel, meaning, and Moses convoked the entire community of Israel, Rashi points out that the verb vayakhel is in the hifil, the causative form of the verb. In other words, Moses doesn't gather the people outright. He doesn't say, come on round, but instead he causes them to gather with the premise of a project, specifically one that involves the entirety of the Israelites. Both men and women contribute, which is notable, as they build a Mishkan, a project that allows the Israelite community to feel whole by contributing to building a portable sanctuary with materials that they volunteer. A project that allows them to feel God and to be in relationship with each other after the enormous rupture of the golden calf episode last week. And ever since this moment of building the Mishkan, Jewish history has been inflected with myriad collective projects: nationhood and monarchy and diaspora and halakha and reform and nationalism and movements for justice, among so many others. In these projects, we have sought as a people some way of forging ahead with a grand vision for who the Jews are and what our role in the world might be. Whether or not they were enduring, each of those historic projects sought a maximal number of Jews to be part of them, and they were successful. But when we look closely behind us, we see that the last century's Jewish consensus has been torn asunder. The ties that once bound us have so obviously frayed, and I'm sad about it. And I want to spend some time grieving. But also, inevitably, I will ask myself over the course of my travels what a 21st century project for our people might look like. I will indulge, I'm sure, plenty of visions for the work we're already doing right here at CBE and at Grand Army Plaza. But more realistically, I hope I will find, in my seeking, how we might continue to relate to one another, even if there isn't one single project that galvanizes us all as Jews. How might we get in touch with the holy as opposed to the merely urgent in the coming decades of our collective experience? How might we find positive ways of relating to one another without tragedy or violence against us or against another? How might we buck the trends and come up with something so much better than we ever thought possible? That is a grandiose set of questions, but I am going to think deeply about them all. And as I embark on this path of seeking many different answers following this week's Parsha, I will begin by resting. I will sleep. I will meditate, I will pray, and I will play. And I will miss you. Shabbat Shalom! Shabbat Shalom.
Yasher Koach, Rabbi Green. And thank you, Yasher Koach. That's good, that's good. And thank you for these beautiful words that you're leaving us with as you get ready for your journey. Our people in Parshat Vayakhel Pikudei this week are also getting ready for their journey. They call that a transition sentence. But really, they're building the Mishkan, as you taught us, still this week, so that they will have what they need when they're out there in the wilderness, like you, being and becoming, learning and resting, engaging with God and each other and with their own selves. And as you know, our text tells us that in their building of the Mishkan, the people brought all of their gifts, their most heartfelt contributions, and they heaped them on, giving as much as they could, with their hearts full of love and generosity and affection. They gave until Moses said, Haita dayam. It was enough and more than enough. This, Matt, our friend and our teacher and our partner and our confidant, is what we want to give you. We want to bring you our heartfelt contributions with so much love and affection and awe and adoration for you until Haita dayam, until it is enough and more than enough, that you should feel filled up with our love as you begin this journey, enough to last you throughout this adventure and until we see you again. So that is what we will do. We will heap upon you our gifts of how much we love you and why. Matt, my friend, is dangerous, right? I will share only the ones that are appropriate. You are my back-channeling, most reliable, most reassuring, most make everything okay friend. I know that when I call you, there is nothing too big or too intimidating or too challenging for us to work through and think through together. You make being vulnerable and honest an obvious choice, and you are the most real and bared to the world human that I know. Unafraid even when you're afraid, but always using your humanity and humbleness to care for someone else, to be a friend. You know things that constantly astound me. Yes, about history and Judaism and building things, but mostly about people, about the heart, about how to love and see this world and the Jewish people. Our 6 formative months together while Rabbi Timoner was on sabbatical surely sealed this deal, but the truth is, I loved you immediately the day that I met you. You are loyal and generous and hilarious and ridiculous and just right, and I'm so happy for you that you are taking this sabbatical, and I also will miss you every single day.
Matt, I'm not sure if you will remember this, but we met almost 10 years ago when I just moved to New York City to work for the Union for Reform Judaism for a new job focused on millennial engagement. I was supposed to travel the country, finding the Reform synagogues that were providing Jewish young adults with meaningful and fun ways of living Jewishly, and it turns out I did not have to travel far to find that. After attending Brooklyn Jews High Holidays and the Shabbat dinner, I got to see you lead with passion, wit, creativity, and joy. And after meeting with you to hear more about this special community, it was clear that Brooklyn Jews represented the very best of Judaism and Jewish life. During that time in my life, I felt so fortunate to witness your leadership, guiding myself and so many other young Jews and helping us to find ourselves, our community, and our Judaism. Fast forward a few years, and I found myself standing alongside you, leading Brooklyn Jews High Holidays together. You brought your same creative and funny energy to that experience, helping a third-year rabbinic student feel comfortable in taking on this new role in this new community. To work and play alongside you, Matt, is to witness your true passion, joy, and love for the Jewish people. Your Ahavat Yisrael, your love of the Jewish people, is unwavering and unyielding. And this comes out most spectacularly during our Across Brooklyn events, with Jews from all different communities dancing with Torahs in Grand Army Plaza, reading the Megillah in costumes for Purim, and studying all night long during Shavuot. Even across all of our differences in our communities, you work so hard to hold us all together, and you inspire us to do the same. Thank you, Matt, for pushing us to try new things, for laughs, so many laughs, for your relentless determination, for your creative approach to the world, for your love of the Jewish people. May you be blessed with rest and renewal and with joy. We will miss you, and we're so excited to welcome you when you come back.
Here's what I love about you, Rabbi Matt Green. I love that you asked us to tell you tonight what we love about you. Most people wouldn't ask, but they would secretly wish to hear it. And I love that you are so in touch with your feelings, feeling fully, and that you're willing every day to be so completely true to them and completely real and completely vulnerable. I love that you make me laugh pretty much every time I'm with you. I love that you trust me with your heart. I love that you are a brilliant and poetic teacher of Torah. I love that you glean so many insights from word usage, from grammar, like tonight, Hefil, and plays on words and creative readings of words and language itself. I love that you have always been wise. Be wise, but really wise. And even as an intern, you were wise beyond your years, understanding human beings and understanding life with a sensitivity and keen awareness that is rare. I love that you are the coolest person in any room, just by being so you, that you figured out the secret, you figured out how to own all the parts of yourself without artifice, and how to meet other people in the awkwardness and foibles of humanness. And that's what makes you so cool. And I love that everyone sees that and knows that, and therefore will follow you anywhere. I love that you love our senior members the most of all our members, our eldest members of our nope, they're not senior, they're not eldest, they're just long time. I love that you know all about their lives and are in their lives and kind of don't have boundaries with them. And I'm not sure that I really actually love that, and I love that they're some of your very favorite people. I love that you are absolutely smitten with the Jewish people. You just adore the Jewish people. And I love that you learned Yiddish and that your Instagram account is called The Official Debbie Friedman. And you just love Jews and Jewishness. I love that you are dissatisfied with the Judaism we have and that you are relentless in that dissatisfaction. The number of hours that we have complained together and suffered together over that you will not rest until we make Judaism speak to the people, until we make Judaism meet the needs of the people, until we make Judaism that can reach the people where they are. I love that we happened into this place at the same time and have had almost 11 years of collaborating and dreaming and building that Judaism together. And that now you get this most deserved respite to renew yourself and fill yourself up for the next great chapter of your life and work, in which you will be creating a Judaism that can reach the people where they are. And I love that I get to witness your genius as that unfolds, and that I get to cheer you on, and that we get to keep collaborating and having fun together. And I just love you. So now we actually have a little bit of time to hear from a few members of the congregation. You, in a few words, spontaneously, What do you love about Rabbi Matt Green? That you love senior people, whatever we call them, long term. What else?
His green glasses.
Oh, your green glasses. Okay. Soft facial hair. Okay. Okay. What else?
Thanks, Ira.
What else? The Ralph Lifshitz yarmulke. Pretty good. He's so good looking. He's so good looking, she said.
No boundaries.
What do you hear? What? He's a great teacher. What? So smart.
I love his wit. I love how warm he is. I love how he embraces my children. He's friends with them, and he just connects with everybody and reaches out and makes you feel comfortable, and that's a gift.
Thank you, Marcia.
We'll take one more. Say it again.
Oh, that's very
Devastatingly linguistically adept. But I saw a hand over here. Did I block somebody? Yes. I love the comfort he gave to my husband before he passed away. And that's where we'll end this, though you can, of course, tell Rabbi Green later what you love about him if you'd like. We're going to together give him our blessing for his journey in the words of Debbie Friedman, of course. Lechi Lach is on page.
Found on page 645. Lechi Lach, to a land that I will show you. Lech Lecha, to a place you do not know. Lechi Lach, on your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechi Lach. Lechi Lach, and I shall make your name great. Lech Lecha, and all shall praise your name. Lechi Lach, to the place that I will show you. L'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, lechi lach. You shall be a blessing, and you shall be a blessing, and you are a blessing, and you shall be a blessing. Lechi Lach. We turn to page 586. For Aleinu, please rise. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, בגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש
It is now my honor to call forward the president of our Board of Trustees, Leslie Lewin, to offer us a few greetings and announcements.
Good evening, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to CBE. Whether it's your first time hearing this or you've heard it 1,000 times, we are so glad that you're here. Together, we are doing something essential, living the Judaism of our time. We do not have one kind of look. We do not have one kind of name. We come from every race and myriad cultures. You may meet a white Ashkenazi or Sephardi Jew, a black Jew, an Asian Jew, a Latino Jew, an Arab or Mizrahi Jew, and no matter what we look like, we might know a lot about Judaism or a little. We have a broad range of perspectives and many different ways of practicing our Judaism. We include members with both visible and invisible disabilities, and we are also home to a lot of people who aren't Jewish. The only thing you can assume, the only thing you should assume, is that every single person you meet here at CBE belongs here exactly as much as you do. Thank you to our clergy, Rabbi Matt Green and cantorial intern Leslie Goldberg, for leading us always tonight and especially tonight for such a beautiful service. And of course, we wish Rabbi Green a heartfelt lehitraot, safe travels, enjoy, rest. We look forward to welcoming you back in a few months. We will miss you for sure. 2 announcements. Tomorrow is the Art of Imagination in our New Futures project. We are asking, what does the world look like in 2076, and how did you help shape it? When we try to imagine the future, our brains and hearts often default to the last dystopian movie we've seen. But art, creativity, and play free us to see many versions of a possible hopeful future. Experience the CBE Ballroom as you never have before, with an afternoon of hands-on art making, guided exploration of the future, a life-size dice game, a StoryCorps-style sound booth, and more, as we bring a values-driven horizon into view. Lunch and childcare are provided, and you can register on the CBE website. And for 8 weeks each year, CBE operates a shelter in the rotunda of this building, providing a warm, safe place to sleep, along with a hot meal for our guests navigating homelessness. This shelter begins on Sunday, March 29th, and is run entirely by volunteers. We need people to provide dinner and dessert to our guests and also to stay overnight. You can volunteer with friends, or you can make a new friend from the CBE community. Teens are also able to volunteer with an adult and receive community service hours. Please sign up, check the website, or CBE This Week for more details to help serve our neighbors. On behalf of the board, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Leslie.
That Leslie. I said that Leslie.
Yes.
Leslie.
Thank you, Leslie, also. This has been a beautiful service, and really, the Debbie stuff is very welcome. Okay, but now it is time to conclude our service, and as always, our thoughts turn at the end of a service to words of Mourner's Kaddish. And so this evening, if you are here observing Shiva, the first week of mourning a loved one, we want to invite you to please rise and share a name with our community. Mm-hmm. If you are in Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning, please also rise and share a name. And you can feel free to stay standing or sit. And also, if you are in Shana, the first year of mourning, please rise and share a name. If you are here to observe a yortzeit or the anniversary of a death, please rise and share a name. In solidarity with our mourners, I invite you all to please rise as we turn now to page 598 for words of the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah